Hey, y'all, and welcome back to Am I the Patient? Since we've been on the air, have you been asking yourself that? I know and I've been but my name is Miss J, and this is the podcast where we unpack life, healing, relationships, and all the wild stuff, in between from a therapist perspective. So, like I said, my name is Miss J. I am a licensed professional counselor. And today's episode is called Boundaries, Baby Powder, and Toxic Norms. So, I came across this TikTok where this woman, like the slideshow TikTok, she had 7 points or 7 reasons that she refuses to live with a man. And so when I say it had the internet in the chokehold, I think so. I think her TikTok had like 1.6 million views last time I looked. So a lot of people were looking at it. So some of the points were petty, some of them were valid, but some of them hit deep, real deep. So today in this episode, I just want to break down some of her points with a little bit of humor and a little bit of real talk from a therapist. From the male gaze to emotional labor. If you haven't seen my emotional labor episode, go ahead, go back to episode 2. And why it's just not built for cohabitation. But also how sometimes the issue isn't that we want to live alone. It's just that we've never truly felt safe living with someone else. So, girl, we gonna talk about it. Okay? So, let's get into it. Raw conversations, real feelings, and no copay. This is Am I the Patient? All right. So this TikTok was by the user. Her name is Jessens2, and I will link it in all the descriptions and comments or whatever. Whatnot on this podcast episode. But yeah, so she posted these and I was looking at them and I'm just like, I see what she's getting at because I never want to denote anyone's experience. Your experience is your experience and your experience is valid. So she is valid in that. But some of the points had me thinking, I'm just like, I think this needs a deeper look at because I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, let's just jump into it because I'm ready to get into it. So the first point that she had was, I don't feel like cosplaying all day. Okay. So she writes, all the extra effort to always be physically appealing to meet the approval of the male gaze, running around serving him, cooking, cleaning, shaving every other day, making sure he's comfy, way too much energy. So right off the bat, she's talking about constantly feeling the need to be on, just to look good, to act right, to be polished 24/7. And it's not just about makeup or outfits, which that plays into it, I know as well. But it's deeper than that if you want to go below the surface of just makeup and outfits. We're talking about emotional safety. So when you feel like you're performing in your own house or in your own home, it just means that you're not being accepted fully as you are. And that can be so draining, and which is why her point is so valid. That's exhausting. I don't want to do that. She's saying I don't want to do that. Like when your home is supposed to be a safe place. It's supposed to be a safe space for you. So when you're in your home and you don't feel emotionally safe and you always feel like your guard is up and you can't let your guard down because you're trying to appeal to this man. And of course, we're talking about a heterosexual relationship with a female perspective. This doesn't take into account any queer relationships. So it's very hetero central. Sorry. But she's talking about like, yes, so when you feel that you can't let your guard down, you can't be emotionally safe. So it can be about control as well when femininity is reduced to presentation and not expression. So when you feel like I have to be feminine, meaning I have to be put together and my hair needs to always be done and I always need to be shaved and I always need to be just put together, then that's exhausting. And I understand why she said that. So that in and of itself, to me, in my therapist brain, sends off the little ding 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 ding. Maybe you aren't emotionally safe in your relationship. So, all right, moving along to her second point. She said, I'm not trying to get cracked all the time. And y'all know cracked as in, sex all day. She writes, currently celibate, but when and if I do want it, I want it on my own time, not at their convenience. I don't want someone to have constant access to my energy or my body. Too much wear and tear on the cat. She put a cat emoji on the cat. Also, my love language is not physical touch. And that's valid. Knowing your love language is very important in a relationship. And communicating that to your partner is very important. So, okay. I'm going to give y'all like 2 seconds to see if you can put on the therapist brain and see why this would be toxic. I'm going to give you 2 seconds. Hold it. Think about it. Okay, let's come back, class. Listen, when intimacy becomes an expectation or obligation instead of a shared connection, that is such a red flag. Oh my gosh, I saw this, I read this, and I was like, I feel you, sis. But if your partner expects access to your body at all times, that's not intimacy, that's entitlement. And again, that set off my little therapist brain like ding, ding, ding. Maybe you're not in an emotionally safe relationship. You should not be with someone who feels like they have access to your body just because you're in a relationship with them. And this goes for any relationship, heterosexuals, and queer relationships and everything in between, honey. Like, it doesn't matter. You do not have access to your partner just because you're together. It doesn't work like that. Nobody should be expected to feel on sexually at all times just because they live with somebody. Respecting physical boundaries is literally basic adult behavior. Like, it's just common sense. If you are in a relationship with someone and the expectation is that you need to give them sex just because you're together, you should reevaluate that relationship. You need to ask yourself, hold on, am I the patient? Just saying. Okay, point number 3. She says, I like farting and burping in peace. She didn't even have anything else on this slide. That was it. Now this, you know what? I understand. She wants to be comfortable. She wants to be in her own house. She want to be able to do normal bodily functions in peace. Because we all fart and we all burp. We all poop and we all pee. So all she's saying is just, I want to be human in my own home. So bodily shame, and of course, I'm taking on my little therapist perspective. I'm going to stop saying that. You get that. I'm a therapist. Sorry. But bodily shame, especially gendered shame, is so real. So women, we're often taught to be ladylike, even when we're by ourselves. So if you have a partner that makes you feel gross or embarrassed for existing naturally, then obviously that's a them problem. And of course that rings off the bell like, I don't know, maybe I need to reevaluate this relationship. Your house, your home should be the only place where you don't have to hold your stomach in or mute your body. You shouldn't have to mute your body. If I want to fart, I want to fart. Because we're all human. Okay, number 4. She says, infringing on my space. She writes, I don't want him touching / moving my stuff. I want to decorate things exactly how I want them. I don't want to have to consider someone else in everything that I do in my own home, temperature, colors, etc. Girl, I feel that. When you talk about decorating, like I semi-decorated my apartment, and it's so much easier when you have to make decisions for one person and you only. when you have to consider someone else, it does make it more difficult, and it might not be the way you like it. So you just want to be able to express yourself through your space, and having someone else, you could, potentially feel blocked by someone else's preferences, and that's okay. I get it. Your environment is part of your emotional health. If you feel like you're being erased in your own home, like you can't hang up the art you like or have your pink fuzzy rug, there could be some resentment. And then there could be some potential fights in the future. And it's not about just liking different styles. It's about whether your partner values your presence and taste equally. So in this scenario, this one didn't ring off as many flags because you're going to run into this. It's a no-brainer if you're in a relationship. But this, it just speaks to compromise and communication. The two C's. Compromise and communication. So, of course, with this one, you're going to have to compromise. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Unless you have a partner who's like, I don't care what you do, go for it. But if you have, on the flip side, a partner who's like, you don't get to decorate, I'm going to decorate, I'm going to do what I want, I don't care what you want, then you need to reevaluate that relationship. Okay. Point 5. She says, I like to, this one made me chuckle. I like to be baby powdered up like a Hostess donut 90% of the time. She writes, and don't like being freaked on / messed with after my final shower routine of the day. You know what? That's valid. I get it. I hollered at this one. But basically, she's just saying that she doesn't want to be touched or sexualized after her nighttime routine. And again, like I said, that's okay. So setting physical boundaries after a certain time around a specific routine is healthy. I don't think I would jump the gun and say, that's why I'm not living with a man just because after my routine, I don't want to get touched. You can set a boundary, and that's fine. It doesn't mean that you're rejecting somebody. It just means you're honoring your rhythm. People forget that feeling safe isn't just about danger. It's about peace. So if baby powder means, hey, I'm off duty, I'm closed for the night, then that should be respected. And of course, I've said it 5,000 times already. I'm going to say it again. So if you're in a relationship and you set a boundary and your partner doesn't respect that boundary, then you should reevaluate that relationship. It's funny because I was doing a group today on boundaries with some middle schoolers. I think they're middle school. And I took them through how to set boundaries, how to say no, and we worked through some scenarios in which you would set a boundary. And that went really, really, really well. I kind of touched on this in my second episode with emotional labor as well. We talked about how to say no, because saying no protects your emotional energy as well as you set boundaries to have healthy relationships. So boundaries, I'm a big component of boundaries. You got to set boundaries. Boundaries doesn't mean you don't like somebody. It doesn't mean that you hate them. It doesn't mean that you don't want them near you. It just means that you're protecting your peace. You are protecting your space, and you are just protecting your overall well-being. If you were passive and you just said yes to everybody, and if you were just a pushover, which I know some people are, and if you were just a people pleaser, life and relationships are much more difficult for you because you don't have those boundaries. So I don't want to go on a tangent. Let's keep it moving. But I did want to just mention that boundaries are just such a huge component in any type of relationship, friendships, relationships, familial relationships with family members. Woo! Child, that's another topic for another day. Because sometimes our family, don't get me started. Do not get me started. Okay, we're almost done, y'all. 2 more points. So, number 6, she says, picking up after adults. She writes, I slick have OCD and men are like children. I will put you out. Which I get it. I get it. Especially if you are a clean freak. I wouldn't say OCD. People use that term, I would say incorrectly. Sure, I'll say incorrectly. When OCD doesn't really mean that. But she's particular in the way she wants things clean. you know? So if she's, cleaning something and she wants something clean in a specific way, or the things are just, naturally clean, and then this dude come up in here, got drawers over here, he throwing his socks up here, he leaving pee on the toilet seat, never takes out the trash, tissue paper over here, sheets balled up down here, whatever you can think of. Like, that's not, no. That's not your job. And this is also where communication comes into play too. But whenever one partner becomes a default cleaner, scheduler, cook, and project manager, that's not a relationship. That's literally just a second job. And it's usually unpaid. It's tell me about it. And so typically those roles that I named, that is typically gender norms would say that that's a female role, which again, that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day, because I do not like gender roles. Ooh, child, you know what? Let me write that down so I can do that. Gender roles. Ooh, especially in heterosexual relationships. Whew. Anywho. But yeah, so with this one, I relate to it. I'm not about to clean up behind somebody who knows how to turn on the Xbox or who knows how to turn on the PS5, but somehow doesn't know where the trash go. Like, come on, sir. You are not 5 years old. Please stop. Matter of fact, a 5-year-old would clean up better than you. Let's not do that. So with this one, there has to be some communication. Whatever works for your relationship. You can set a boundary. Hey, I like this stuff. I like this clean in this way, and I like this that way. I'm not about to clean your drawers for you. That is where I draw the line. You will do your own laundry, and you will take on, your own hygienic cleanliness yourself. I'm not about to clean up behind you. And if that's not respected, say it with me. You need to reevaluate your relationship. Yes. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. Last one. So, point 7. She says, can't sleep in the same bed. And then she writes, in my 35 years of living, I have yet to have gotten a full night's sleep next to a man. I typically end up sleeping like a cat, waking up frustrated and restless. My body can't do it. When I spread eagle, I want to feel endless, cold, clean Egyptian cotton sheets. Not dry, calloused, hard feet. I want to sleep diagonally in this cow king with no sheets magically disappearing. You know what? I get it. This one, there's no way around it. If you can't sleep next to somebody, you can't sleep next to someone. Just getting off track here a little bit. There's these videos or TikToks. Y'all know. If y'all, child, hold on. I'm going off on another tangent. I love me some TikTok. I am not afraid to admit I will spend hours on TikTok. Just scrolling. It's ridiculous. I know. I've started to think, I'm like, you know what? This might actually be a problem. Because, yeah. But anyway. So I come across these videos and I don't know why. But they're like, okay, this is how it is in a relationship when you have to share the sheets. And I'm like, me and my boyfriend do not do that. The simple solution is to get your own sheets. So when my boyfriend and I started sleeping in the same bed together, so he comes over my place, I go over to his place. Each of us have our own blanket. So we're never fighting over the sheets. It's not, it's funny because it's not a conversation we ever had. It's not something we were like, hey, we're not going to sleep with the same blanket. It's just kind of something that happened. And you know what? I couldn't be happier. because I don't have to fight for a blanket. He has his own blanket. I have my own blanket. He has his own pillows. I have my own pillows. And we leave it at that. Now, I will say, like I said, that's why I told her, I was like, I can relate to this point. Oh my gosh. This man will be in the middle of the bed. I understand. You're used to sleeping in a bed by yourself. But baby, like you're sleeping with me now. Move over. Gosh. So when I go over to his place, he has a full bed. So it's already a little small to begin with. I'm like, sir, push over. It's funny because when we first started dating, he was like, he woke up one morning, he was like, man, you elbowed me in my sleep. You gave me a hard elbow. He was like, you could have just told me to scoot over. I was like, you know what? I didn't know what else to do, okay? So I was just like, I'm not going to wake you up. I'm just going to elbow you. Move you out of the way. Which I don't even remember doing. I don't think I did it intentionally. Sorry, babe. But anyway, I get it. So when he comes over to my place, I have a queen bed. And somehow this dude is in the middle of the bed. Oh my gosh. And I will say, I am a big girl, but I'm used to, I've literally just got a queen bed. So I'm used to sleeping on a twin bed. Yeah, I know, whatever. It was my twin bed. It was fine. I was fine. So I am used to not taking up a lot of space. So it's just like, my gosh. But he will just be in the middle of the bed. I'm like, sir, move over. So this one, I get. But again, communication will solve this problem. Just be like, hey, babe, I don't know what it is, but when I sleep with you, I just don't sleep right. And this might not be everyone's solution because it would cost money. But in my head, I'm thinking, hey, just get another bed. Buy another bed so you guys have two beds. Upgrade your sofa if your sofa in the living room has a pull-out bed, which granted, those probably aren't as comfortable. I'm sorry, but it is an option. It's something, think about something just to I don't know, try and not have to sleep with a person. So, I mean, that last point, you either take it or leave it. So, that one's something you're just going to have to work through. I'd like to believe that love could conquer that. And if it can't, then, we'll figure out something. But anyway, so this podcast is called Am I the Patient? I kind of gave my Am I the Patient moment, like I'm saying. Like, I'm like, bro, you just got to get out of the middle of the bed. Honestly, this is still something I don't say we argue about it, but it still comes up. It's a point. I'm like, sir, please. You're taking up the whole bed. I'll wake up to go to the bathroom, and he's like in the middle of the bed, and I'm like on the edge. But it's fine. Usually if I shift or I go to the bathroom, he moves over. So it kind of works out, but still. Gosh. Whew. I tell you. But anyway. We've reached the end of this podcast, and I'm about to close, but it was just so funny because I was just thinking of a lot of things, and I was telling you guys how this is a new relationship for me, and it's funny. It's funny. But anyway, it's time to wrap up. So, now, do you need to live alone to be healthy? Of course not. But what I do want you to think about is this. Are these things you want because they're your preferences, or are they what you need to recover from being in a dynamic where your space, your time, your body, and your peace were never respected? Do you want space, or do you just need safety? We can laugh at TikToks all day. Y'all know me, like I just said, I'm on TikTok all the time. But behind a lot of those jokes are some hard-earned boundaries, and those deserve to be honored. So, that's it for Am I the Patient? If you related, if you cringed, if you laughed, please share this podcast. Please click on my Linktree. If you have a story, oh my gosh, are you the patient in this for this episode today? I would love to hear your stories. If you click on my Linktree, there is a Google form where you can submit a story. I would love to hear. Of course, you can also email me, amithepatientpod@gmail.com. That one's a little more unmonitored, as it's just kind of there for a safe space. So you probably get an automatic response back, but it's an unmonitored-ish inbox. But anyway, I don't want to take up any more of you guys' time, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I love you all. And remember, communication, boundaries, communication. Life is hard, but there are some things we can do to make it just a little bit easier. All right, y'all. Until next time, I'll see ya. Bye.